Right. Hi, everyone. I am Rachel Dorsey, financial wellness coach with Effortless Budgeting, joined by my friend Amy Ruggieri. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Amy Ruggieri with the Ruggieri Group. My husband and I, we are financial advisors who love normalizing the money conversation, teaching money mindset and how to do the right thing. So glad
Okay.
to be with you, Rachel.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Always happy to be with you, Amy. So we are continuing our series. So we've been doing a series on relationships and money, and we are at the final sort of stages of the relationships. We focused on very new relationships. We focused on maybe getting married, moving in together, time frame, and then having kids. So now we're going to fast forward to when you are empty nesters now. Your kids have moved out. They're likely not coming back. And now you have a whole other sort of set of things to think about as far as your money. And so this episode is going to be sort of the why. Why do you even want to have that conversation? And at this point, you've probably been together for a long time. Maybe you've never talked about money before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But whether you have or you haven't, I think it's so, so important to do, because even if you have, things are very different right now. And
Yeah.
if you haven't, there are reasons that you should, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's such a different life stage. We were, just chatting before here. It really does change things. It's kind of like you're starting over again almost
yeah.
because there's just so many things that happen in your, 50s and 60s and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I think our thoughts on just sort of why you would want to have this conversation. There's so many reasons, and I think just generally having money conversations is so important with your partner, but especially at this point, as you just mentioned, Amy, like things are very different now. You may have been paying for your kids' college. You may have still been paying for, I don't know, their cell phone bills or things like that. They may have been coming home on the weekends a lot if they were in school, and now they've moved out and they've got their own place. So you probably have a little bit more money, and you're probably still working, right? Your job probably hasn't changed. So you probably have a little bit more money sitting around than you had. And what are you going to do with that? Your thought may be very different from your partner's thought. And so that's why it's so important to have this conversation at this stage.
Yeah, and I think honestly too, Rachel, like why do it is I know this just being in the kids zone myself. Your kids really consume your life. And the tendency, whether we want to admit that this happens or not, is our focus really shifts to them. It's always their needs, their
Mm-hmm.
needs, their needs. Now that they're out of the nest, this might be the first time in the last 20 years of your life you've really taken a look at what do I need?
Mm-hmm.
How do I
Mm-hmm.
set myself up for the next, I mean, who knows? This could be another 40 years, 30, 40,
Mm-hmm.
50 years, who knows, of your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big mental shift that you need to make. And if you're not thinking about, I need to make a mental shift, I think that surprises would come up that are maybe not as positive as they could be. Like this is a really good moment
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to look at things and who are we? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
Like, right?
And how exciting. Like I get it. It can be tough and can be a struggle, right? When your kids
Yeah.
move out, but also how exciting. You now have this extra money that you can spend on yourself. Like that you've raised your kids, they're good, they know how to take care of themselves. Of course, you're always going to be their parent, but now it's time to really think about you and your partner, and what do you all want to do with the last sort of half of your life. And again, like I may be thinking, you know what, this house is way too big for us. Like there's just two of us now. And I would like to sell and downsize. And my partner might be thinking, with this extra money, I want to go on vacation. And those are two very different. And if you never come together and talk about it, you might be sort of assuming and working away on this other plan where your partner is going to be assuming and working away on a totally different plan. And perhaps even both of those things can happen, but you don't know that until you come together and talk about it. So, sort of why are you having this conversation is there's so many changes, there's so much going on. And if y'all are doing your own thing and working on your own separate goals, you're going to be much less likely to succeed and to be fulfilled and happy with the money that you have than if you would come together and figure out like some common goals together. It's just going to make you more fulfilled, not only in just your life and your money, but also in your relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and talking about goals and dreams are not, I know we do this a lot, right? I like, we both like to travel. Let's talk about what that looks like. Let's talk about what kind of food we want to be able to go eat and things that we want to do. And, I know when I talk to my friends, our friends about that, like people don't really do that a whole lot. And I think that that's something that maybe we could encourage in relationships a little bit
Yeah.
is some dream building.
Hmm.
And because again, money's a tool and a resource, and
Hmm.
when you get the right energy and the emotions around it, now it becomes, oh, we get to do this really fun and exciting
Yeah.
thing together. Like this is a new journey we get to go on. Like I'm
Hmm.
getting excited saying it right now,
Hmm.
but I think
Yeah.
of it as an exhilarating thing.
Yeah.
And that's really why you got to talk about it. It's not exhilarating if you're not talking about it.
Yeah. And
It's
it's, you
a
just,
lot of fun.
it's such a good point that money, I don't even know how to say it, but so many people just like focus on money as like a very negative thing. Like, I don't have enough, or I'll never have enough, or, I've got all this debt or whatever it is weighing on you. But you need to use money as a tool to get what you want in life. Like if you want to travel, if you want to buy a home, if you want to send your kids to college, like you have to have money. But
Yeah.
if you don't talk about what your goals are and what your aspirations are and what you really want out of your life, then you're not going to be fulfilled. Again, you might have the money, you might spend it on something, but you're not going to be fulfilled because you're not really looking at what is actually important to you.
Yeah.
And at this stage, if you have a partner, why not work with them on that? I mean, you're still sharing your life with them. You've probably been sharing your life with them for a long time. And so yeah, it's time to figure out what your shared goals are. And you can have separate goals too. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, it's probably healthy to also have some separate goals. But
Yeah.
you're talking about big goals of buying a different home or going on vacation or saving for retirement. We didn't talk
Yeah.
about retirement yet, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like those are big goals that if you have a partner, oh my gosh, of course, utilize them and their support. And then it can be fun. Like you said, they can be fun. Okay, well,
You
we want to,
encourage
this is
each
what we want
other.
to do. Yeah. We want to do this. And I
Yeah.
see we can do it. Like I'm going to crunch some numbers and I'm going to look at some things and be like, whoa, we can absolutely do this. And that's fun and exciting.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about retirement, which we don't have a lot of time left, but obviously you are getting near to retirement, which in a perfect world, you would have had this conversation a long time ago and you would already be working towards it, but not everybody has, and that's fine.
Right.
So yeah, but you're getting near to that place that you probably want to retire. And so you also need to talk about that too. It's time to meet with your financial advisor as a couple,
Yeah.
and figure out like where you are and what do you need to be where you want to be. And again, another reason to have that conversation with your partner. Where do you want to be? How old do you want to be? Or what does 65 even look like? Maybe you don't want to retire, but you want to do something else. Like have those conversations with your partner and your financial advisor to make sure you're on the right page and
Yeah,
you're on the right track
absolutely.
together. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is a really great catch up phase. A lot of people, unfortunately, they don't fully fund their retirement in those
Yeah.
early years. It's just how it is, right? I mean, we can be honest about it. But it's a great catch up phase for people as we're paying off mortgages and we've got those expenses that we talked about. We can play catch up. But you are so right. Talk with somebody, make sure you have a plan on that, because here's what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about having $1 million+ to last a big period of time. There's a lot of planning that goes into that. If you don't know what the goal is, it's very hard to hit the goal, right? And
Mhm. Oh yeah.
so you want to make sure that all those moving parts, because it's really fun to get into retirement, go, we're having a great time,
Yeah.
and then money starts running low, and all of a sudden the fun time doesn't come at a very fun time in your life, if
Yeah.
that maybe makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I think to make a long story short, there's a lot of reasons to talk to your partner about money
Yeah.
at this stage in your relationship when your kids have moved out and you're empty nesters. And it can be a really fun and exciting time. So don't make money be a super stressful conversation and something that brings about a lot of anxiety. I mean, make it fun. Okay, what are our goals? What do we want to do? And even if your goals are just simply to throw a bunch of money into your retirement fund, well, that's fine, but watch it grow, like
Yeah.
see what it looks like. And then
Get
like,
emotionally involved with it.
yes, and talk
Yeah.
about what that means. Okay, I'm putting all this money in retirement because this
Yeah.
is what I want to do. This is what we want to do together. Yeah, that's gonna make it fun. This shouldn't be like super anxiety ridden, scary time to talk about money. It should be a fun time. And elicit some help. I mean, if you've not had a lot of these conversations before, then yes, you should have a financial advisor that you trust, that you can talk with about your retirement or whatever your goals are. If your goals are, yeah, you want to travel a ton, you still need a financial advisor to sort of help you understand, like,
You
what
need to
does your
know
money
what
look
that's going to
like?
look
And
like.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Okay, well, that is sort of ending up this sort of why would you want to have the conversation with your partner when you're sort of that empty nester. And then the next and last one in the series will be sort of the how do you have this conversation with your partner when you're at this stage. So thanks everyone for joining, and we will be back in just technically a little while. So hope everyone enjoyed, and we'll see you soon.